An explosion packed in a person. Boom Boom packs a punch or two. She has been part of the X-Force and the New Mutants, showing no team is too powerful for this mutant. But who is she? Well, she's a mutant who can create energy bombs of all shapes and sizes. She's a young girl who ran away from home and fell in cahoots with the likes of Beyonder. She is an X-Force member, and she is a character who had a split-second appearance in X-Men 97. Where does her story begin? Why did she pull an Annabeth Chase and run away? Let's dive right into her, well, explosive story. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin! Boom Boom Origins. Boom Boom was born Tabitha Smith, and puberty kicked her powers into gear, where she blew off the roof of her school because she liked a boy. Her parents were not the most supportive, and in retaliation, Tabitha put a small ball of explosive energy in her father's food. As a consequence, she got quite the beating. Somehow after this, Tabitha came to know about Professor X and his school for mutants and ran away to become part of the same. She gave herself a code name, Time Bomb. But how did Time Bomb become Boom Boom? Well, that's a long story, and we are just at the start. This is where Time Bomb fell in cahoots with a Beyonder. Her parents had just rejected her, and she was feeling all alone when she came across the power entity, and the two became friends because she thought he was a mutant. He was allowed by the Celestials to defeat them to see how he fares in action. Once Time Bomb realized that Beyonder was an entity from space, she demanded to be left alone. Beyonder complied. Tabitha returned to Earth and warned the Avengers about the Beyonder, a decision that would have consequences later. After all, the Beyonder, thinking Time Bomb was his only friend, allowed himself to be defeated by the Avengers despite having more power than them. And after this, Tabitha made her way to LA, calling herself, you guessed it, Boom Boom. And that, ladies, gents, and folks, is how Boom Boom came to be. Here's a fun fact. The name Boom Boom was Tabitha's nickname way before her mutant abilities manifested because her friends thought it fit her red-hot fire personality. But what happened to the character after this? We know she joined both the X-Factor and the New Mutants, but how? Well, here's the story. Boom's stint with the X-Factor. Once again, Boom fell in with bad company. This time, the mutant thief known as the Vanisher. She was under the impression that the X-Factor were mutant hunters and alerted them to Vanisher's lair, once again telling heroes where a threat was. Why did she do this? Simple. She thought Vanisher treated her badly. When Iceman and Beast came, she flirted with Icicle before unleashing a time bomb on him. Yet the two X-Men, Beast and Iceman, pursued her and eventually convinced her to live in the X-Mansion. Here she was part of some escapades, such as the one involving Mask, Emma Laporte, and Rusty Collins. There was another one with Cyclops talking to himself, and yet another Boom Boom living on a ship. Yet we know this is not where the story ends. So, what happens next? Well, Boom Boom joins the X-Terminators. Who are the X-Terminators and what do they do? Time to take a boom, we mean look. Boom Boom and the X-Terminators. They were essentially a group that fought demons. The name X-Terminators was taken to honor the X-Factor, and this group played a pivotal role in helping Darkseid accept her responsibilities as the ruler of the Limbo. X-Terminators adventured with the New Mutants, which provided a smooth entry for Boom Boom into the New Mutants. They battle alongside Namor against a giant sea creature, after which the New Mutants begin living on a ship alongside the X-Terminators as the X-Mansion has been destroyed. Soon, the whole group began to refer to itself as the New Mutants. Boom Boom as a member of the New Mutants. One of the notable things from Boom Boom's tenure as a New Mutant is her crush on Cannonball. While one of the team's first adventures was alongside Namor, as we have mentioned, another adventure that made the highlights was when they met Doctor Strange trying to save a winged horse, Brightwind, and her owner, Mirage. The two had become ill on the group's return from an adventure where they reunited Ilyana with her parents in Siberia. So, the New Mutants went to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and what should they hear but that Doctor Strange was dead. To make matters worse, the group was then attacked by a possessed Mirage alongside Brightwind. When things settled to normal after Dr. Sanders, who was strange in disguise, restored everything and Mirage had returned to normal, the group tried to return to their ship. But alas, luck was not on their side, for who should attack them but the Freedom Force? Who's the Freedom Force? Think Mutant Suicide Squad. Eventually, every one of the New Mutants, except Mirage and Brightwind, was transported to Asgard. The New Mutants realized that they'd been sent to the negative zone, though, and were then captured by dwarves. Here, Cannonball saved the day because he and Eitri, the king of the dwarves, were on good terms. Eventually, Cable became the leader of the group after Cannonball and renamed it X-Force. Boom Boom as an X-Force member. You know who calls themselves a boomer? Tabitha Smith or Boom Boom? Seriously, how many names is she going to try before she picks one? Bad jokes aside, in her tenure at the X-Force, Boom Boom grew more serious in her role as a hero. This led to her changing her name to Meltdown eventually, as she felt that better reflected her new attitude. There were a lot of personal and professional adventures for Meltdown as an X-Force member. Not only did she have to deal with her relationships with her blood family, but she also had to let Cannonball go when she was picked to be an X-Men. The man returned eventually, and the two resumed their relationship. Professionally, the team worked with a British ex-government agent, Pete Wisdom. In one of their adventures, the team was presumed dead, and they used that status so they could infiltrate anti-mutant organizations. When they found the latest villain on the block, Raunchy, who was Wisdom's sister, was infecting humans with alien DNA, they destroyed the alien complex. Again, they were presumed dead. That's like their MO or something. But back to their escapades. One of their notable adventures was when they challenged another team for the name X-Force, and Tabitha was left by one of their members in the air above a freeway. What even? I mean, is it a surprise that these heroes were forced to disband eventually? Not to me. Now, we can't cover all the teams and adventures Tabitha or Boom has exploded her way into. From Next Wave to Underground, she's been around the soup's block. Sure, she has made some mistakes too, but somehow she has always retained the title of hero. And nowhere do we see the complications in her character and the love for her friends better than in her Krakoa arc. Meltdown's Krakoa arc. Boom Boom helped save mutants in Nebraska, after which she and several members of the New Mutants helped a mutant who had just discovered their powers. This shows that Meltdown, or Boom Boom, whatever you wish to call Tabitha's heroic side, is on the side of mutants despite whatever she may have done or not done in the past. Then came a mission into Breakworld, which Cable was heading. Given who was all on that team, Tabitha called it an X-Force reunion, but since that name was taken, WizKid recommended they look further back to their time as X-Terminators and call themselves the all-new X-Terminators. Cable realized these were good allies when the gang managed to get the Breakworld tech that they were after, turn it into a gun, and use it to the benefit of Krakoa. For those who don't know, Krakoa is like a mutant safe haven with some interesting properties that we might explore in another video. For the purpose of this video, it is a place that some fans have said brings all the mutants together and is good for them. So yes, Boom Boom helped a mutant safe haven. But how did she do that and what are her powers? Let's take a boom at that. Boom Boom's mutant ability. Meltdown may be lethal, but Boom Boom wasn't always. For pranks, she made small plasma bombs, but she can make them larger in size to an extent that she can control the time when they go off. She can also absorb the energy of undetonated bombs and generate explosive energy. Boom Boom, after X-Force, has gained the ability to muffle the sound of her bombs going off. While these may seem simple abilities on the surface, in the field they can be highly useful. And where have we seen Boom Boom use her abilities outside canon? Animated shows. Boom Boom's animated appearances, X-Men Animated Series and X-Men 97. While she had only a split-second appearance in X-Men 97, Boom Boom was one of the children who had to be rescued by Cyclops in the episode No Mutant is an Island of X-Men, the animated series. Basically, Boom and Cyclops grew up in the same orphanage, and Boom, alongside Rusty, was adopted by a creepy mutant who wanted to brainwash them for his own agenda. Of course, the plan was foiled, and Boom Boom continued to be at the orphanage and kick villains' behinds in other shows. X-Men Evolution. Here, Boom's a major character to the extent of forming an all-girl mutant vigilante group called the Bayville Sirens. When on a cruise, the sassy girl also helped Magma reconnect with the land. The downfall of this powerhouse, however, was her dad convincing her to do a last robbery. The character voiced by Megan Litch now joined the Brotherhood, where she played many a prank. Eventually, Mystique expelled Boom. This resulted in the shape-shifting mutants' plans being revealed, but Tabitha could not get to the X-Men to reveal them. Yet, she met the X-Men again. When Apocalypse attacked, she was part of the strike force holding their own against a possessed Professor X. She made time bombs, which Multiple Man then used. At the end of it all, Colossus took her home. But sometimes it was Wolverine saving her, as seen in the next show on the list. Wolverine and the X-Men. Voiced by Jennifer Hale, Boom here was one of the prisoners Wolverine rescued from the Mutant Response Division. When escaping, she threw her patent time bombs, which Pyro then manipulated. This led them to destroying the hangar of the place they were kept prisoner and allowed their escape. Marvelous Verdict. Boom Boom is one heck of a character. While unknown to many fans, she packs a punch or two and is essentially a powerhouse. She could go toe-to-toe with many of the greats and win, in our opinion. Additionally, her story of having a single parent who tried to beat what makes her different out of her slots in neatly with the X-Men representing those othered by society. Her various names, groups, and personalities show a chaotic and dynamic character. Yet she finds a home with her found family, regardless of the name they call themselves, which can give hope to many of the intended audience of the X-Men. At the end of the day, Boom Boom or Meltdown is that Tabitha Smith who has embraced all aspects of herself and grown up a bit to become the woman she always could have been. And what's more reassuring than that? That no matter what life throws at us, being friends with a Beyonder or being manipulated by a fellow mutant, we will find a home and who we are meant to be. Don't forget to like and subscribe to know more about lesser-known mutants and the messages they pack.